According to this conspiracy theory, back during World War II, the Allies were struggling in the fight against Nazi Germany. Hitler was winning. The German technology was so advanced that it was rumored the Nazis had accessed alien tech and used occult rituals to harness supernatural powers. One of these awe-inspiring Nazi inventions was something we still utilize today: night vision goggles. A device that allowed the wearer to essentially see in complete darkness without an external source of light. But these early night vision goggles supposedly came with an extra paranormal feature. You see, early NVG allowed the wearer to see other dimensions. Dimensions full of terrifying, winged demon-like creatures with red, scaly skin, claws, tails, and gnashing teeth. But the worst part was, the NVG didn't just expose their dimension to us, they also exposed our dimension to theirs. Soldiers who experienced these early NVGs carried with them an increased sense of paranoia, mania, psychosis, and even death.
Welcome back to Let's Get Haunted with your hosts,
Nat Strawn
and Allie. Welcome back, Haunties, to episode 230 of Let's Get Haunted. We are your gossip ghouls, Allie and Nat, and we're here to get you positively haunted, whether you like it or not. Nat, for anyone new who might be listening to the show for the very first time, how would you describe Let's Get Haunted for the uninitiated?
That's a great question, Allie. Thank you for asking. I have a perfect answer for this because we just had to come up with our tagline. It is a paranormal shitpost podcast. Now, that is the abbreviated version. The longer version is it is an investigative journalism podcast about shit that may have or may not have ever even happened in the first place.
True. Very true. And I think that kind of tells you all you need to know about us. But if you'd like to see more of us, you are absolutely welcome to head over to our Patreon, patreon.com/letsgethaunted. We put out tons of extra fun bonus content, including extended intros. If you've listened to our back catalog for all the newbies out there, you may know that in the past we used to do these really, really long intros that were very polarizing. And because they were so polarizing, we have, for the most part, moved them over to the Patreon for those who want them. But we're so happy to have you with us today to be talking about some super spooky, creepy happenings. I'm sure, because I don't know what today's topic is. Every week, Nat and I switch off. We tell each other a spooky story, and the other person has no idea what is coming at them. Sometimes we're horrified when we find out what the other one has chosen. Let's see if today is one of those days.
Yeah, and I just wanted to throw a quick disclaimer out there for some of our visual listeners who are going to open this up on Spotify. We do have a titty alert because Natalia has brought the girls out briefly. We were on a hiatus for a while. You guys really fucked it up and couldn't handle it. You definitely couldn't handle Nat and Allie at the same time with the low-cut shirt. But today, I'm going to test it. We're testing the waters, and if everyone can handle it, if we can all behave, if we can all focus and watch through the whole episode and give 5 stars, I want to see that fucking little it's on like 4 point something right now. If it doesn't go up a notch, our reviews on Spotify, you guys, titties are done, okay? You want to see more titties? I'm holding you fucking hostage. You better give us a goddamn 5-star review on whatever platform you're listening to, okay?
And for those of you who are very anti-titty, no worries. You can just look at my half of the screen today because I am wearing a turtleneck. I could not possibly be more covered up. So thank you so much, Nat, for giving the titty alert, the trigger warning, the tit warning for this week's episode. What do you have prepared for me today? I am very excited.
Yeah, I'm super stoked. This is a crazy one, Allie. I teased a reel about this, like, I don't know, a few months ago, and I just thought it was so crazy. I was in Texas, and I was talking to a cousin, and they were like, have you heard about this? And I was like, what? And yeah, it's been a wild ride. I'm really excited to share this with you guys. And again, I want to give another disclaimer here, okay? Today, we are going to discuss some very triggering topics. There's going to be graphic images, folks, okay? We interviewed someone who literally got shot and has photos of them bleeding out on the sidewalk. There's going to be interviews with people who served in the military. I know that can be triggering for some people. There's going to be people with various privileges informing us about their life experiences. There's going to be fringe theories, etc. So we try to be inclusive, but if you don't have access to grass to touch, then I think this episode is not going to sit well with you. And I highly suggest skipping this episode altogether if you cannot access grass to touch at all times. Okay?
Beautiful, beautiful. That's very interesting that somebody in Texas came across this conspiracy theory, because many of you have probably heard this before if you are a frequent user of Reddit. And it's kind of been a story that's been floating around Reddit for a few years. So I've heard of it before, but I've never really looked into it in depth. So I'm excited to hear that you even got some interviews for this episode.
Yeah, you know, this is one of those that's kind of iconic. I feel like people talk about it all the time. So I went hard to try to get us some new angles. And new exciting things. So if you guys think you know a lot about this topic, be ready to hear some new perspectives, okay? All right. Let's go all the way back to the 1920s, where this story is beginning today. It is the history of NVG. NVG is night vision goggles. Get with it, guys, okay? Can't do this all day. And it's actually extremely paranormal, bro. They lied to us. Allie, did you know that the history of night vision goggles is actually extremely paranormal and they lied to us, bro?
No, but if the Nazis invented it, I'm sure there is a paranormal angle, because as we've discussed on our show before, there were some weird beliefs that those guys had, like even beyond like the obvious, like horrifying genocidal belief systems that they held. They also had like weird shit about, oh, we're going to go to the moon and there's people living in hollow earth, and also declock, which was like some sort of contraption that may have been reverse engineered alien device. No time to explain. We've done episodes on all of these topics I've just mentioned right now. But yeah, it sort of doesn't surprise me that a paranormal tool would come out of this.
Yeah, so I say invent loosely, right? Like the night vision goggles as we know them today actually came about in several different steps. It was first people experimenting with like really early x-rays. Do you know what a fluoroscopy is, Allie?
I do not. Is it where you like cast fluorescent light on something and then take a picture?
Girl, I don't know. That kind of stuff is like really boring to me, so I usually like skip over like the science stuff. But basically, there was this guy in 1916. His name is Wilhelm Trendelenberg, and he made these things called dark adaptor goggles. They're also called red adaptation goggles. They're made of red, like plastic tinted lenses. I'll throw some images up here. And essentially he was using these goggles to look at this like early medical imaging of fluoroscopy, which were basically early x-rays. But they were so dark, like these original early x-rays were so dark that it was difficult to see the images in them. And so physicians, like early radiologists, these people, they would have to like sit in a dark room for several minutes before they could look at these images, because otherwise it was like just too dark for them to see. So this guy, Wilhelm, was like, well, let me, practice, try some stuff. So he tried these red goggles on, and he noticed that when he was wearing them, he didn't have to adapt his eyes as much to being able to see in the dark, essentially. So what they do is they preserve your night vision. So when you like walk into a dark room, when you go to the bathroom, you're at a pool or you're outside at the beach or you're somewhere outside, and then all of a sudden you have to go to the bathroom, gotta pee, oh my God, God, I'm going to piss my pants. And then it's like you can't see in there because you were just in the bright sun, and it's so, like, it takes a second for your eyes to, like, adjust.
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. Most of the time I am like, wow, I can't see it all. It's just, this is my reality. It's too bright out here. How did people survive before they had access to $3 sunglasses from the gas station?
Right.
And I don't know. And I don't know that we can ever really answer that question of how they survived. But yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I also have something called visual snow syndrome. So it happens to me in fluorescent lighting as well inside, where I just feel like I can't see very well. There's nothing structurally wrong with my eyes. It's like the connection between the eye and the brain that's just like sometimes gets crossed. And so I've definitely experienced that same kind of, oh my God, I can't see in fluorescent lighting as well. So it does make sense that if you are somebody that's trying to see under certain conditions that humans did not adapt to be able to see in, then fuck, let's play God. Let's fucking MacGyver some goggles and slap them on our heads.
So these goggles at the time were huge tech, because you can imagine how much time was wasted for these radiologists having to sit in a dark room before they looked at these like really shitty photos. And I know that x-rays and photos and like all of these are scientific terms for like the science of like an x-ray is a gamma that goes through, but it can't go through the bone or whatever. And there's the light is refracting in the cones and the, I don't care. You guys know what I mean when I say x-ray, right? It's like that thing in the movies where they're like, your leg's broken, and they put it up there, okay? You know what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about, all right? And same with photo. I don't care if it stands for like a photon that like went on the silver and colloidal silver crystallized into the chemical. No, I'm talking about an image, a picture, okay? God, fucking nerds. All right, now, next thing that happened was the Kilner screens. Allie, do you know what dicyanin is?
Does CNN?
The CNN. Oh, like Da Vinci twins watching CNN.
Yeah, that's I'm so glad we're on the same wavelength. That is literally exactly what I was thinking of right now. No, I have never, if it's not the Da Vinci twins watching CNN, then I have never heard of it before.
Okay, so basically around the same time as Trendelenberg, the guy who invented those red goggles, there's this other guy named Walter Kilner. And Walter Kilner was like, well, that guy was inventing stuff that seemed like kind of easy, right? Like, ooh, red goggles make our eyes work better, essentially. So like, let me see what else I can do to draw out more of the visible light spectrum or whatever. Like, let me play with the same idea, experiment more, right? So he started experimenting with different dyes to see if he could discover more things unseen using our normal visible light spectrum vision. And he experimented with this toxic chemical derived from coal tar, which was called dicyanin. Dicyanin. Like the Da Vinci twins watching CNN.
Maybe it's the only way they can watch CNN is if they're wearing these goggles.
Oh,
we should ask them. Da Vinci twins, come on our show.
Oh my God. Can you imagine how fun that we would be? We would be like, so do you guys believe in ghosts? And they would be like, duh. I don't know. They always have like the best punchlines. I can't even like think of one that they would say right now. But you guys comment what the Da Vinci twins would say if they were on our show. Okay.
Oh, shout out to Root Beer, by the way. I feel like we need to start doing beverage cams. I do this on my live streams on Patreon. I make everyone tell me what beverages and snacks they have with them. Today, I have the best root beer, possibly, A&W. Although I do like Mug as well. Barks, it's okay.
When did you like start becoming obsessed with root beer? Because I swear to God, you guys, if you know Allie and I, you know what I'm talking about. But for those of you who are new to the show, I don't know when it happened. There was like one episode a long time ago where I was like, root beer sucks. And Allie like made it her personal like statement to actually prove me wrong. Like started making stickers that were like team root beer, like bringing root beer like out, being like, I've always liked root beer this much. What are you talking about? And it's just interesting. I have to say, it's really interesting.
I love root beer. I'm a root beer apologist. I know some people, I've heard that like certain Europeans that didn't grow up with root beer are like, Ew, what the fuck is this? Like, this fuck-ass root beer tastes like TV static mixed with a licorice root. Like, this fucking blows.
Root beer, no! Root beer! No! Root beer, no! Someone's root beer, no!
But here's the thing. It's really good, and I'm going to tell you why in 5 simple hours of time.
2 hours later.
Basically, my grandpa used to give me root beer when he was babysitting me all the time, and that evolved into a love of cream soda as well. I was big into cream soda as a child. Now, as an adult, I can't have too much cream soda because
1 million, zillion, jillion, dillion, cotillion times later.
and that's why root beer is superior.
Oh, man. Okay, that was really haunted. I'm going to clear the air. Okay. Go away, Satan. This is my road.
It's okay. I'll clear the air, too, here with my magic.
Road glazing. What is this called? Road glazing mist versus the A&W.
A&W root beer.
Who would win in a fight? Actually, that's a great. I feel like root beer is really scrappy and like old timey. Like I feel like root beer's favorite cartoon is like fucking Popeye the Sailor or some shit. And like so their pastimes are like we like to go out and find pebbles and you know like just like hit homeless people with them on the streets, right?
100%. 100%. Yeah, like let's go find the hobos with their beans that are they're cooking a tin of beans over an open flame. Like let's go bring them some root beer. Yeah, for sure. Like a root beer's favorite song is probably that old-timey like prairie
whistling
thing that was like get along little doggies, get along, ride slow cuz the cattle are lowing and the something some
rolling doggies, keep those doggies rolling. Yeah.
No, that's a beer song. Is it? Root beer though, but beer is You know what?
Beer is
this
beer.
is taking up too much time. Let's continue on.
Okay, where was I? Oh yeah, okay, so then this Kilner guy, he gets this dicyanin, he puts the dye between 2 panes of glass, and it's like this primitive goggle type thing. He puts them on his eyes, and they're called Kilner screens, okay? They sort of look like, you know, like people who go to Burning Man, and they like wear those goggles, but like not like goggles that would actually be comfortable and like serve you well, like out in the elements. Like, I'm talking about like, they're like little fucking like circles.
Steampunk.
Yeah, steampunk. It's like circles on your eyes, but they like come out like an inch. Yeah, steampunk is the exact word I was looking for.
These they almost look like a jeweler's loop.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, these were the original steampunk glasses. They were used specifically to train eyes to perceive electromagnetic radiation outside the normal spectrum of visible light, namely N rays, and this toxic coal tar dye used to like sensitize infrared photographic plates. Now, basically, he was doing same, but different than the first guy that was like trying to look at the primitive x-rays or whatever. He was trying to like look at some other like, I don't know, guys, it's nerd shit. It's not haunted and it's not cool, okay? But he found out some cool shit while he was he found out some haunted cool shit while he was doing the nerd shit. And what he found out was that when him and his associates wore his Kilner screens, they could see the human aura, which they dubbed the human atmosphere. Bro, you're going to need to sit down for this one. This is fucking crazy, dude. So basically they would put on these goggles and it would make everything super dark and like it would make like the person or whoever you were looking at like dark, like dyed black, bluish color, right? Because this is like derived from coal dye. It's like super pigmented. But then just on the outside of the person, you could see glowing. So, like, imagine you're looking at me and it's just, like, a shadow figure with, like, glowing light emanating off of me. Now, Allie, do you know what an aura is?
I think an aura, I don't know if there's a scientific way to describe it, but I'm familiar with the woo-woo explanation where people say, oh, I can read your aura, I can see your aura. Every human emits a certain color from their astral butthole plane, like whatever it is. I don't know. I'm not spiritual enough to understand, but it's supposed to be like everyone has a slightly different aura. And I have heard like if you're a bad person, your aura can get damaged. If you're a good person, your aura gets even more brilliant. If you are somebody that has their third eye open or who is very spiritual, your aura can glow or shimmer. And yeah, that's what I've heard.
Yeah. I mean, that's basically right. There's like different people believe different things about the auras. Some people believe that all living things have an aura and that it's like an electromagnetic like thing that happens that's just scientific. And then other people think that like only certain things have auras. And some people think like your aura can get dim or darker, or they think like the quality of the aura changes with like your mood or whatever. And there's also aura farming, which we talk about sometimes in the online spheres. And that's where you take someone who has more aura than you and you, I guess, humiliate them or you like neg them into like having less aura. Like you take some of their aura, but you can only take some of their aura by making them like artificially think you have more aura. Look, I don't know how to describe.
But wouldn't that make your aura worse if the whole point of aura is kind of like how spiritual or good of a person you are? Then like wouldn't your aura get worse if you were like tricking people into feeling bad about themselves to dim their aura so you could grab more of their aura? Like this is what I don't understand about a lot of spiritual topics we touch on. But I did want to show that I have been to an aura photo booth before, and this was my aura.
Yes, that's beautiful.
There I am.
Yep. I went to the same one with Allie. My card is upstairs, but I did aura too. And remember the colors, because we're going to get on that in a second, okay? Ooh. But basically, an aura is, according to Wikipedia, an energy field, and it has like a colored emanation that's said to enclose a human body or any animal or object. In some esoteric positions, the aura is described as a subtle body. Sometimes the human aura is seen as part of a hidden anatomy that reflects the state of being and health of a client. It's often also understood to comprise centers of vital force called chakras, which is interesting because I didn't realize that the chakras were like a play on the aura. I thought that was something different, but actually it's true. And supposedly, I have insider knowledge, if you take enough mushrooms, you can see auras. Now, I have a very secret source that I can't reveal that gave me this information, but...
Does their name rhyme with Buntalia?
I can't reveal. A true journalist... Actually, I think a journalist always reveals their sources, right?
No, I think that you don't have to reveal your sources, and I think that the law can't compel you to publicly reveal your sources, but if you get sued for defamation, like a judge can say you have to reveal your sources to me, but it wouldn't be part of the public record to like prove that you didn't make it up.
Okay. We can always count on Allie to know more about the law than me. But basically,
I could be wrong.
This person told me that if you take enough mushrooms, you can see auras. And actually, I know another person who's also not me that said they were able to see auras like permanently. This one really isn't me. The first one might be me. The second one really isn't me, guys. Okay. The second one was a person who actually we're friends with on this podcast, and they once took a bunch of mushrooms, and ever since then she says she can see auras. Isn't that crazy?
That is really interesting. And I also remember we once had somebody on our show as a guest that said that they have an aunt that reads auras professionally. And the aunt will not read somebody's aura anymore. It's just like a rule because she doesn't want to hurt people's feelings. I guess a lot of people have like really bad auras.
Ooh. Okay, so speaking of bad or good auras, some people think that it's just neutral, right? Like it's like, I guess this would be the same people who like don't think hexing people is bad, right? Like it's just energy, guys. It's just energy. So like, why are you trying to humanize it? Because it's literally just energy. Okay, so some people say that different colors of auras mean different things. Like purple is spirituality, intuition, creativity. Red, specifically, and Allie's is red, is associated with strong emotions like passion, energy, and a connection to the physical world. Individuals with a red aura are often described as assertive, energetic, and confident, potentially excelling in physically demanding roles. Now, I think that's so interesting because when you compare that to, I can't really remember what mine was. Mine was all white. Mine was all white, and white is supposed to be like purity, like divine energy, like otherworldly, not earthly, not worldly, right? Like the opposite, not connected to the physical world, like connected to the whatever, something else,
outer space.
Sure, outer space, the energy fields, the divine, whatever you want to call it. And so I think that's really interesting that we almost kind of had like opposite ends of the spectrum. And I would describe Allie as being very grounded, except for when she's spiraling. But even when you're spiraling, it's still in a grounded way. It's like, I'm spiraling because of this, and so it is the correct reaction to
response.
Take. Yeah, it is the correct. This is a valid crash out, as one might say, because XYZ, right?
Yeah, it is interesting. I never noticed that on the back of these Fujifilm Polaroids, it says what the different auras mean. It says white is enlightenment, harmony, or purity. Red is grounded, stable, passionate. Orange is creative, expressive, productive. Yellow is confident, playful, generous, etc. There's like all of the spectrum of colors you could possibly imagine.
Yeah. Yeah. And some people say so that like the color grades change the meaning of an aura. For example, light blue might be associated with honesty, kindness, and easy communication. Royal blue might be like a deep intuition, spiritual awareness, and strong communication skills, but dark or muddy blue can signify feeling blocked, anxious, or emotionally drained. The long and the short of it is essentially that the actual like color grade, like the brightness, is more telling of what a person is feeling than the actual color, at least like from this, whatever I was reading. And if you disagree with me and you know more than me, make sure you type out a really long comment and engage with this to tell me. Okay. Now, the TikTok oversimplification is that bright white, light-colored auras are quote-unquote good spirits, aligned energy, and possibly higher vibrational beings, but dark or red-blue auras are often interpreted as quote-unquote low vibe, heavy energy, repressed emotion, or a darker nature. Now, that is rooted in auric color interpretation, which is something that a lot of psychics, I guess, still practice today. But that's like the TikTok oversimplification of it. And the reason that that's important is because Kilner's discovery, when he would put on these goggles and look at auras, came with some crazy insights. He said that long-term viewing potentially, quote, had a very deleterious effect upon our eyes, making them very painful, end quote. But after regular viewing, he said you wouldn't need these screens anymore. It was like once you had seen an aura using these goggles, you would always know how to do it. In the same way that, like, do you know what magic eye is?
No.
Oh my God, I don't even know how to explain this. I just found out about magic eye like 5.
Oh, magic eye. Yes. It's a thing where you look at a drawing and at first it just looks like nothing, like a bunch of garbage. But then if you like cross your eyes or squint or like stare at it long enough, you start to see that there's a picture within the squiggles, right? Yeah. And it's like a game that you can play. Like they make these for kids, these booklets that have like activity booklets. Yeah. And then they have a magic eye page where if you look at the right angle or come really close to the page and then slowly back away, you can see this hidden picture in the chaos.
It's also called stereograms, I think. So if you guys are curious what we're talking about, Google stereogram. It does work. You can look at a stereogram on your phone and do it. It took me a really long time. I remember when I first got a magic eye book. It was back when I was living in Silver Lake. I think it was like 2018, 2019 maybe. And my roommate brought them home and was showing them to people and was like, look. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, it literally just looks like TV static or something. And only like in the last couple years have I actually been able to start seeing them. And they've actually like trained the muscles in my eyes to be better. Like my vision is sharper now. And ophthalmologists will give patients who have like weak eyes magic eye books to strengthen their vision. So actually, we just saved you a lot of money at the ophthalmologist guys too. Is that what it's called? Ophthalmologist, right?
Yes, because
There's an
optometrist is for
optometrist.
glasses, I believe, and then ophthalmologist, I believe, is the eye doctor.
Okay, seems like something that could be just made into one career, honestly. But sorry to you guys that are one of those or the other. But I don't know. It just seems like that could probably just be one career. Okay. As Kilner continued to experiment with these screens, he found out that the screens actually don't just reveal auras, they also reveal UFOs.
Whoa, okay, very cool.
Yeah.
So then is the theory that these UFOs are made out of light? Is it that they refract light differently? Is it that, I don't know, what other options are there? Because I have heard before, like octopuses or octopi
Yeah.
have this many cones and rods in their eyes. They can see a whole spectrum of colors, but humans only have this amount of rods and cones, and we can only see the color wheel that we currently have. So it would be interesting to know, and maybe you're about to tell us, why is it that these glasses, like what is it about the UFO that is making it visible on the glasses?
Well, that right there is the $1,000,000 question, right? Like, why? Are these things really there, or are the people just hallucinating? Are these things that we're seeing, are they always there? Like, is our aura always there? And we just can't see it, and the goggles help you to be able to see things that are always there? Or is it just like a trick of the goggles, right? Like everybody has different heat coming off of them or something like that, and when you look through the goggles, I don't know, it like reacts with the dye or something.
Oh, I see.
I
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
guess the skeptic perspective would be like, okay, if you stare at the sun, and then you look away, you see a giant blue or black ball where the sun was in your eye, right? That doesn't mean that, oh my God, I'm seeing a sphere. I am seeing the ghost of my grandfather.
Right.
He is a black blue aura. That means he's gone to hell. Like, no, that is because you just looked at something super bright that fucked with your vision.
Yeah.
So, yeah, maybe the skeptic perspective would be, oh, you're wearing these glasses. They make light shine directly into your eyeballs so that when you take them off, you're seeing something that's not really there. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, he really didn't know. He theorized on it, and he wrote this book called The Human Atmosphere in 1911. But as soon as he came out and started saying, hey, you guys, I was trying to figure out a way to, like, see more stuff on these, like, plates or whatever he was doing. But actually, I discovered the human aura, and let me tell you about it. And also, I can see UFOs sometimes, and if you wear my glasses, you're going to be able to see the human aura, too. All of his like scientific peers or whatever were like, no, this is not real. This is a hoax. Like, we don't trust you anymore. You're like they called him a hoax, apparently. But what was crazy about Kilner and like the ecosystem that he was experimenting in, and he was releasing these goggles, it was actually like, I don't know, like he was kind of woke, because let me explain why. In the 1920s, spirituality was a big deal, and people, we've talked about this in other episodes, people were really interested in the afterlife, and that was spurred on by several different things, but one of them was just the prevalence of death being around people all the time, people dying, losing loved ones to war, to diseases, so on and so forth. And people really wanted to, like, ways to communicate with the quote-unquote other side. So seances were big during this time. Ouija boards were big during this time. Spirit boards were big during this time. And if you've listened to our other episode, you might know that those two things are kind of the same thing. So this was a time when people were really interested in like psychics and mediumship, but it was thought that like you had to be special, you had to be clairvoyant, you had to be gifted in order to experience the supernatural, and like the regular plebeian muggles, as one might say, we don't get to experience any of that unless it's like through a psychic. And so what Kilner did was he published this book and was like, anyone can see this, all you have to do is put these screens on. So it was sort of revolutionary in a way, and like part of the conspiracy is that like, well, perhaps like the psychics and the clairvoyants and the people who made careers off of their special ability didn't want the general public to have this information. And some people think that maybe, you know, there were government infrastructures. I don't think the CIA was around in 1920, but like whatever that was before then, tried to eliminate this guy and call it a hoax and all of that because they didn't want the average person to have that tech. That's one of the theories. That ties into this broader fringe theory that there are entire layers of reality happening at frequencies that are just beyond our natural perception. And some people think that Kilner found this rudimentary way to pierce that veil and see UFOs and interdimensional beings. So after everyone called him a hoax and was like, you're fake, bro, and we hate you, he stopped producing his screens. And today there are some relics that go online supposedly for a lot. Like I saw one selling for $14,000 and they weren't even original. They were homemade Kilner screens. And so you don't even know if these are the real deal or not. There's still, we'll talk about later, there's other people that are like producing them, but they're like fake or, you know, whatever. They're not the real deal. And it really does have to be the dicyanin, which is like a toxic banned chemical now, in between two panes of glass. So like you have to be looking through the liquid. You can't just have like a lens that is colored with the glass. Does that make sense? Like you have to be looking through liquid in order to see it. You can't just like look at something that's been dyed with the dye. It has to be like you're looking through a film of liquid. Does that make sense?
So the Kilner screen itself, does that refer to a physical object you could pick up and put to your face?
Yes.
Or are you saying that it was a liquid that you would look through?
Well, it's both. So, okay, you know when you look under a microscope at like a slide, like there's a piece of glass and then you put like a little dropper of fluid or whatever and then you put another slide on top of it and you look through that. It's the same
That's
idea.
what it was?
Yeah, it's two panes of glass
with
the dye, the liquid between the panes of glass that you're looking through. And so other people like nowadays or even back then would say, oh, well, we have lenses that are dicyanin lenses, like in the same way that a sunglass lens is like a dark colored glass or something with a film on it. That Kilner says doesn't work. It has to be through the actual liquid.
Okay, I understand now.
Yeah, so people who are listening to this will be like, well, actually, I went to Spirit Halloween and I got a pair for $7.99. Like, no, that's not the same thing. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Right.
So this idea that Kilner had discovered a way to see another consciousness never quite died. And there's this growing theory on TikTok and in spiritual circles today that Kilner's discovery didn't just allow you to see energy, but actually tap into a consciousness parallel that was adjacent to ours. A conscious,
Interesting.
Another consciousness.
So like piercing into the parallel universe. If we believe in multiverse, is that what you're saying? Like there are tons of worlds and beings existing at the same time on the same plane, just in different dimensions, and then putting on these glasses helps you see into those dimensions, or is it something else?
Well, yes, that's one way to look at it. That could also be correct, but I'm talking about a different idea of like, okay, imagine, okay, guys, this is crazy. All right, hold on. We got to prepare for this. We have to glaze the room. Okay. This is crazy. So you know how we've talked about mind matter interaction, right? Like people who are meditating, all thinking of the same thing, have the ability to change reality, essentially, like affect random number generators. Some people think that that's because we are living in a consciousness right now. Okay, so I'm going to use the term God because I think it's just the easiest way to explain consciousness without taking up a whole 5-hour episode explaining what consciousness is. Imagine if like the reality that we're living in right now, you and I, in this dimension, in this world, in this timeline, is like God's consciousness, right? And when we pray or when we all meditate or when we all manifest something to happen, it's like we're all tapping into the same consciousness to make that reality happen.
I see you in another life, brother.
Now, some people think that Kilner was seeing a different consciousness. Yes, you could say another dimension, right? But like, I just feel like that's not as cool as actually like saying another consciousness, right? Like all of those beings can make reality happen in the same but different as us. I just forget it, guys. It's stupid. You wouldn't get it, guys. Forget it.
We're not woke enough yet. But I think, this is one of those episodes. Sometimes I leave these episodes and I'm like, I have no fucking idea what we just talked about. And then later I like think about it some more and I'm like, oh, okay. Like I understand now. So that's what I'm expecting is going to happen is like, I'm going to go home tonight. I'm going to be laying in bed like, what the fuck was she talking about? And then at like 2 a.m, I'm going to get this epiphany that's like, your aura is orange. And like a chorus of angels above me are like handing me these divine glasses through the fog of my dreams.
Right.
And then I wake up in the morning and I'm wearing these swimming goggles and my boyfriend turns over and looks at me and screams. That's what I imagine.
Okay, so another way to say it would be like, we're living in a simulation and there's another simulation, right? Or there's infinite simulations. And like maybe our simulation is run by an AI and that's a type of consciousness, right? Like the AI's consciousness made this. And maybe a different simulation is running on a different type of consciousness. That's not AI, it's something else that we don't even know.
Okay, so it's kind of like, tell me if this one's wrong. Okay, so would it be similar to like, I am a human that plays The Sims 4. The Sims 4 is a simulation. It's simulated reality within the confines of this game. And for that person in the game that I'm controlling, they can't see other people's game saves, or they can't even see my game saves. I could have like 4 Sims 4 worlds saved on the same disk at the same time, but they can't see each other because it's different saves. But if they could put on glasses and see the other saves.
That's a perfect example.
Understood. I get it now.
That's a perfect example. Or you could even go broader. You're playing Sims on PC, but in the next consciousness, someone's playing Spider-Man on PS5. You know what I mean?
Whoa.
It's like we're all playing a game and like doing things, but it's different. Okay, guys, you don't understand us. You would never get this podcast. So this idea, the separate consciousness, it's not actually that different from like the notion of the Akashic records or like the collective unconsciousness or the astral realm. These are just places of hidden truth, spiritual entities, and unfiltered knowing. So people kept experimenting with this dicyanin until the US government banned it in the 1940s. And the word on the street was like, oh, it's toxic. And so like, it's bad for you. But the conspiracy theory is that they just didn't want the average citizen to be able to see what was beyond the veil. Okay. And then, in the 1940s, shit was getting real with like World War II happening. The Nazis were supposedly developing all of this crazy alien tech, like trying to connect with like the spirit world and all of this stuff. Like, I mean, that's like facts. We don't have time to go into that, but crazy. And so the conspiracy is like, well, they just didn't want the average people to be able to see what was happening. Like, was Hitler actually summoning like demonic armies to take over the world? I don't know. If you don't put on the glasses, you're never going to know.
That kind of reminds me of that comic that we talked about like years ago. It was a comic where it shows this guy and he is opening a shoe box or something. He takes out this new pair of shoes, and then the silica gel packets that come with stuff, and it says do not eat on it, and he looks at it and he goes, you can't tell me what to do, and he eats it, and then he wakes up and they're like, congratulations, you're the only human to ever bust through the simulation. And he's like, what the fuck? Like looking around, he's attached to all these wires, like, yeah, silica gel's not actually bad for you. It's just that they don't want us to bust through the simulation.
Yeah, literally. And like, that's what's crazy to me about the simulation is it's like, actually, I don't want to say that. I don't want to encourage people to kill themselves because I feel like we'll get in trouble.
Yeah, disclaimer, guys, that was a fictional joke. That was a comic that I once saw a few years ago. Please do not eat silica gel packets.
Yeah,
don't eat anything that's not food, please.
Fucking touch grass. God, touch grass. Come on, people. Hey guys, it's Nat. I was up all last night decoding Taylor Swift's message to us, and the delusions were confirmed to be accurate. But long story short, I was up all night. Like after the drop happened at around midnight, I still couldn't go back to sleep because I was just like so pumped on my delusions being right. They can't tell me nothing. On top of that, my baby is teething and he's got a fever. He's unhappy. He really just wants to be holding me, touching me all night. So of course I'm cuddling with him in my bed, on my phone, deep in the Taylor Swift subreddits that no one even knows about. And because the baby's teething, he has all of this drool. So there's just drool getting like all over me, all over the bed. Now if I was sleeping on traditional bed sheets, your girl would have been nasty. But because I was sleeping on Miracle Made, I knew I was going to be protected by the silver NASA-infused technology. Because Miracle Made sheets are infused with silver that prevents up to 99.7% of bacterial growth. So they stay cleaner and fresher 3 times longer than regular sheets. They're temperature regulating, so you're not going to be too hot or too cold. You especially won't be too hot if you're wearing your winter Taylor Swift pajamas in August. These sheets are designed for your skin. Who doesn't want a healthy glow? So stop sleeping on bacteria because bacteria can clog your pores, which causes breakouts and acne. Sleep clean with Miracle. Also, they're super comfortable, if that even matters to you. Personally, all I care about is glowing skin and doing less laundry, but they're comfortable too. Upgrade your sleep as the weather heats up. Go to trymiracle.com/haunted to try Miracle Made sheets today. And whether you're buying them for yourself or as a gift for a loved one, if you order today, you can save over 40%. And if you use our promo code HAUNTED at checkout, you'll get a free 3-piece towel set and save an extra 20%. Miracle is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so if you aren't 100% satisfied, you'll get a full refund. Upgrade your sleep with Miracle Made. Go to trymiracle.com/haunted and use the code HAUNTED to claim your free 3-piece towel set and save over 40% off. Again, that's trymiracle.com/haunted to treat yourself. Thank you, Miracle Made, for sponsoring this episode. For more information, just open up those show notes, and now back to your regularly scheduled haunting. Okay. So, 1940s, it was banned, right? And where did it go? I don't know. Actually, we do know. So, the history of night vision goggles is that they were introduced in the German army as early as 1939, and they were used all throughout World War II. And AEG first started developing these devices in 1935, but in mid-1943, the German army began testing infrared night vision devices and telescopic rangefinders mounted on Panther tanks. Now, according to this conspiracy, the US first introduced their version of NVG, or night vision goggles, to soldiers in Vietnam as part of government testing. And there's this really creepy story that goes along with this whole thing. Allie, this is probably what some people have heard on Reddit. Now, this is lore, okay? I've heard this. I've heard everyone talk about this story. I've heard some people say that this story is just like, there's no way to prove it. It might just be an urban legend. It might be true. I don't know. I'm just going to tell you guys what the story is, okay? It's Vietnam, all right? We got people in the jungle and shit, and they're fighting, and they don't want to be there. It's hot. There's bugs, and it's like that movie where it's like, with like the chopters descending.
Way to play the flag. Ooh, the red, white, and blue. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. That. Okay, so that is exactly what's happening. So according to the conspiracy, the U.S.
There's like somebody having a board meeting to my right. Like, I can hear them. They're like discussing like very serious business.
And you're just like screaming Fortunate Son or whatever that song's called. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, you shut up and listen to my story for a minute.
Okay. All
so
right.
they can
I'm
have
ready.
their board meeting. Okay. So, that's happening. And also, the U.S. is testing night vision goggles. Now, they've tried all of these different shades. They tried the blue, like the dicyanin ones, but it's not good for the eyes, right? It can cause like deleteriousness, whatever that guy was saying. Basically, it hurts your eyes and it can like give permanent blindness in some cases. And so they're trying all of these different kinds of dyes. They're trying all of these different things. And then they say, hey, wait a second. Before the dicyanin, there was those red ones, right? Like the red goggles. Why don't we try red? So they try red night vision goggles. And they give these to their best officers and their best troops or whatever who had been through several tours of Vietnam. So that way they can essentially test these and tell them like if it's worth it for them to produce more, if they're good, if they're bad, whatever. They told the officers to have soldiers wear them, but don't allow any pilots or like any higher ups to wear them. Essentially, you're going to give them to like the soldiers on the field, right? Like the lowest of the low ranking people. And the officers kind of like, okay, seems kind of weird, but like whatever. I don't really care. I'm just going to like smoke this cigarette and like write cool stuff on my helmet and play cards or whatever, you know? And so everyone obeys. And the officers start noticing that the men who are wearing these goggles start kind of acting weird. They're like sort of putting the goggles on and like looking around and like startled, right? Like they're like kind of like, huh, like jumpy looking around. And so the officers are like, okay, you know, I remember my first time to be in Vietnam, and they're like, just let it go, I guess. Cause they're like, you know what? I'm almost done with Vietnam. Like, let's just get the fuck out of here. I'm like not trying to be here forever. So these guys are like acting really aggro at the same time. They're jumpy and they're sort of like irritable. And the officers are like, okay, this could just be the effects of war, right? Like the effects of being up late at night, off your schedule, having to do weird fucking tests for the US government, like wearing big goggles on your face that are annoying, you know? It could be anything. So then they start noticing that these people that are wearing the goggles are kind of like bickering with one another. They're sort of just like not working together as a team. It just, the vibes are kind of off. You know, when you're doing like a group presentation and there's two people who are like way too into it or something, and they're like having fights about it. And maybe this is just my perspective as the person who usually didn't do much in the group project. I'm like, why are they fighting over like what font it should be and how much spacing should be between the lines? Like, who gives a fuck? And they were fighting about it. Okay, anyways, so then one night they're flying in the air. The choppers are doing the like thing. They're like flying in formation, and night approaches. One of the dudes in the chopper puts on the night vision goggles, and everything is cool at first until it gets completely dark. Then this gunner guy with the goggles on just starts shooting, and he's like shooting around, and all of the other people are like, what the fuck? Because you're not supposed to shoot unless you have orders. It's a big deal. I think you have to do like a bunch of paperwork. You might even get like kicked out of the military. Like, it's a big deal to fire when you're not supposed to. And he was firing into the air, like beside him, and the bullets were going like towards the other choppers. So it's almost like friendly fire.
Whoa.
And so he's shooting parallel to the chopper, like not on the ground, which is weird. Like, that's his job, is to shoot on the ground, not like in the air. And the officers are like, what is going on? This is a peaceful like area that we're flying over. Why is this guy fucking shooting? And so this officer comes up to him to check on him, and he notices that the guy is like sweating a lot, like a profuse amount of sweating. And he looks in his pupils, and he sees that his pupils are just completely dilated. Like he's just on quote unquote pure adrenaline. And the officers are like, well, maybe he's on some sort of drugs. Like, I know heroin was very popular in Vietnam at the time. It was like a big problem between soldiers to be using. That's kind of what that movie Tropic Thunder makes fun of, in that a lot is like they're abusing different hard drugs or whatever. And he says in his own words, like, but he doesn't seem like he's fucked up. He doesn't seem like intoxicated. He seems like someone who's seen like a war. Like, he seems like a man who has seen the enemy. Like, his reaction is genuine fear. And he asks the guy, like, what's going on? And the guy says that he sees demons. Specifically, he sees 2 demons. They have wings, they're red, they're 7, 8 feet tall, they've got horns, their faces look like gargoyles. He describes like stereotypical demonic entities. So the officer is like, okay, this guy's lost his marbles. Just chill out, dude. And he takes the goggles and he puts them on, and to his surprise, he sees those exact 2 demons. And those demons notice him looking at them, and it's like they became aware of him noticing them, and they turn to look at the officer who has the night vision goggles on, and then they kind of look at each other and they communicate something. Maybe it's like their own language, maybe it was just like body language or something. They communicate something between the two of them, and then they start flying towards the chopper, towards the guy that has the night vision goggles on. So he immediately rips the goggles off. He goes to the front of the chopper. He demands that everybody take off the goggles. We're not doing the experiment anymore. Like, it's done. And once the goggles came off, no one could see the demons anymore. But people continued for weeks to have night terrors, to, you know, be extremely paranoid, to think that they were seeing things in the corner of their eye. No one was the same after that. And people began to think, like, okay, maybe those things, the quote unquote demons, are around all of the time and we just can't see them because we're not on the same frequency. We can only see them with certain like visual like aids, I guess. And
that's so creepy.
Yeah. And so then supposedly, according to the lore, after that, the officers didn't really report it up to the higher ups or anything like that, because they're just trying to collect their bag and go home, guys. And also, they don't know, like, am I going crazy? It could be, if you did think you were going crazy, you're not going to be like, hey, boss, I just want to let you know that I might be mentally unstable. And I'm actually not sure, but I just thought I should tell you. Like, no, you're not going to say that to your boss. You're just going to try to, like, forget about it and move on, you know? And so supposedly after that, the U.S. Army switched to green night vision goggles, and then everything was fine, supposedly.
That's incredibly creepy and unsettling. I also wanted to shout out, for those of you who are very interested in the Vietnam War, we had an episode back in 2019 called Operation Wandering Soul and the Paranormal Side of the Vietnam War. Highly recommend you go check that out if you enjoyed this episode, because the Vietnam War was so paranormal that this makes sense to me. And yeah, the skeptic perspective is, well, people are in high stress environments. All senses are firing on all cylinders because they're trained to be constantly vigilant, looking out for the enemy. Vietnam in particular was just like a particularly bad war. It was just, there were like holes dug in the jungle that we didn't have experience in the jungle. There would be these horrible traps that like spear you and you're still alive and your people can't get you out of this hole. There were these rat tunnels, I believe is what they were called, where Viet Cong would crawl through, and they definitely had the advantage over the non-Viet troops. And yeah, it was, and there were people taking meth, there were people taking a lot of uppers to stay up, and they were seeing weird things. I remember in that episode we did in 2019, we talked about the bird woman of Da Nang, which is people seeing this like crazy all black shiny bird woman. I don't really know how else to describe it. And now I'm like, shit, were people just seeing like
light
other
beings?
Dimensions?
Yeah, I don't know, really creepy. And then so that is, according to the conspiracy, the reason that we switched to green night vision goggles, even though we had the dicyanin and the red technology. And it kind of goes along with that idea that like, oh, blue and red auras, according to the fucking Wikipedia thing I read, are like supposedly could be like dark blue, dark red, or like supposedly darker evil spirits. Now, I don't know. That's just something I said on Wikipedia, and it kind of makes it scarier. I'm here to talk to you about how NUTRAFOL saved me a trip to Turkey. I have been taking the NUTRAFOL postpartum supplement for, let's say 6 months now, maybe? I don't know. I think almost 6 months. Oh my God. Milestone. And I'm just starting to wean my baby off of breast milk because he got a tooth. So cute, but so painful. And one thing that happens when you stop breastfeeding is you get postpartum hair shedding. And so I'm starting to get like a little bit more thin up here, especially where I have my grays, aka my slays. I can see there's all these little baby hairs. Look at all these little baby hairs. And so the Nutrafol literally saved me a trip to Turkey. Ever since I started taking Nutrafol, I have seen improved hair growth, improved thickness. I mean, you guys, you've known me for a long time. This is the best my hair's ever looked. Hands down. Look, part of my hair when it got bleached literally broke off. So I have like all of these little tiny scragglers down here. But the Nutrafol is helping this bottom messed up layer that no one knows about until now because I just told you all. Okay, mermaid princess. Okay, cursed by a sea witch. You want that hair that makes sea witches jealous of you. You need Nutrafol. It's not just hype, you guys. This isn't just like influencer bullshit. This stuff really works. And even if I wasn't sponsored by them, I would continue to take it because it is the actual shit. Please, Nutrafol, never stop endorsing me because I love your product. I work out in the morning, fasted cardio, and then I come home, I have a protein shake with caffeine in it. Girl, how do you think this podcast is run? And I take my 4 Nutrafol pills with my protein shake and my breakfast. It's part of my routine and I literally love it. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand trusted by over 1.5 million people. You can feel great about what you're putting into your body since Nutrafol hair growth supplements are backed by peer-reviewed studies and NSF content certified, the gold standard and third-party certification for supplements. It's so easy. You sign up online. No prescription is required. There's automated deliveries and free shipping to keep you on track. And if you subscribe, you save 20%. It's literally a no-brainer. You guys, I'm newly psychic. Okay, I did a cacao ceremony. It was a whole thing. All right. My psychic eye is telling me that if we have long, luscious, beautiful hair, we're all gonna get promotions. So let's do this together, fam. See thicker, stronger, faster growing hair with less shedding in just 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code HAUNTED. Find out why Nutrafol is the best-selling hair growth supplement brand at Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code HAUNTED. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code HAUNTED. For more information, just open up those show notes, and now back to your regularly scheduled haunting. So, next, we have the invention of night vision goggles that we have today. And people say that even today, although you don't see like the demons or whatever, you are more likely to see UFOs when you're wearing night vision goggles. Now, I couldn't interview somebody from World War II or even Vietnam because they're just too old, guys. And that's just going to be too traumatic for them. And they would probably say no. But I was able to find a Marine who has some experience with night vision goggles because I've never worn them. I don't know. I just played like Call of Duty. Alyssa and I played Call of Duty. That's like the extent of our experience in the military. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so I have a friend who was able to do an interview for me. His name is Joey, and we're very thankful that he was able to come on. And I'm going to put the interview in right here, you guys. I just want to give a trigger warning. There is some graphic images that are going to come up in this story because Joey had an experience where he got shot in the chest and he almost died. And some people, haunted fucking people, took some pictures of him bleeding out on the sidewalk in Marina del Rey. And if we all want to hear more of this story, we got to pester Joey about it. Okay, so here's the interview. Okay, everybody, welcome our special guest. Joey is here to tell us about his experience with night vision goggles. So, Joey, I've never worn night vision goggles, so I don't know what it's like, but people say that when you wear them, there is like visual, perhaps hallucinations, perhaps not hallucinations. I don't know. Have you ever actually worn night vision goggles like in training or whatever?
So, yeah, first and foremost, thanks for having me on. And yeah, I did. They kind of strap onto your helmet. I mean, it is really, really wild. You can't compare it to seeing through any like binoculars or telescope or even, like a rangefinder with hunting or anything like that, because when you're looking with your own eyes, you can't see anything, especially if there's no moonlight. And then you drop these things down, and it's kind of like you're in this video game. So you're having to trust that, that what you're seeing in front of you, and it's green and white, and heaven forbid you look at artificial light, because it'll almost damn near blind you. And then on top of that, once you have the night vision goggles on, you're looking around. I mean, you can see like the wisps of dust, if there's any dust in the air, if any bugs, like a lightning bug. I mean, that was a source of light, not artificial, but still a source of light. So you would see this stuff. You really kind of have to slow down and focus in to figure out what was what. And then on top of that, we're young Marines, and we have our M16s walking around. We just had gotten done playing Call of Duty in high school and college. So now there we are. Talk about, you have 120 guys there training, and they all have what's called an infrared laser attached to the M16, which is a laser that the naked eye can't see. And the point is that, you wouldn't want your enemy to be able to see a laser pointing at them like a red or green laser. So this laser is only visible through the NVGs. You can't see anything. You can hear your buddies talking. You can kind of see maybe if, there's some people here, but I can't see even 100 feet, 20 feet in front of me. And then you drop these NVGs down, and all of a sudden you're seeing these lasers point everywhere because everybody's holding their guns around. And it does. I mean, it was wild. It was overwhelming. And your eyes will play tricks on you for sure. That's kind of my experience with it. I only wore them 2 days in the evening. And but it was really cool.
That is super interesting to me. One of the things that we talk about in the episode is people do see, like, they hallucinate, they see things that may or may not be there.
Mhm.
And the skeptic perspective is that we're unable to trust the accounts of people who are talking about supernatural things they experienced, because they might be shell shocked or they might be under some extreme stress from combat.
Sure.
But I know that you said you never had gone to combat, right?
Gratefully, I got to work on airplanes. I did no field on the ground combat like that, where I had to actually use the night vision goggles to fight enemies. It was just for training. So I was pretty clear when I put them on. There was not a lot of stressors. It was more of like, I want to say like a field trip.
What do you think of the claims, as someone who has actually been in the military, who has used technology, the modern night vision goggles? What do you think of the claims of people from World War II era, from Vietnam era, claiming that when they put on those early night vision goggles, they were able to see auras, they were able to see.
I mean, this is my take. I 100% believe it. I mean, energy, light. I mean, you're using a technology that's all of a sudden allowing you to do something that the human eye can't do. And, we're so limited already as humans with what we can see, how much of our brain is actually operating on the day to day. I do believe in the supernatural and the afterlife and in ghost and energy and spirits. Not that they're all like the Hollywood movies, that they're going to chase you down a hall or kill you. But if someone told me that, I would have a hard time saying, no, that's, you probably were just, hallucinating. And there is a thing that's called the fog of war, which is kind of a feeling that people get when they are in the midst of combat under enemy fire. Life slows down all the way. And the only reason why I can say that, and I said I hadn't been to combat, I still have been shot in the chest in a very scary scenario. It wasn't in the military, but hand-to-hand combat, ended up getting shot in the chest and had to run away. I imagine that's what the fog of war would feel like. Your senses are heightened. You're aware of everything that's going around you, and time almost stands still. So it's like you can almost dissect what's going on in slow motion. The sounds, the distractions, and everything go away, and you're just zoned in completely on what you need to be zoned in on. So for me to discount somebody saying that they saw some type of energy or some type of, beings or whatever, like I just can't. I could never say that because I didn't have that experience. With my experience, I definitely experienced someone was, talking to me. I don't know whether it was the higher power or whatever, but someone was telling me that day when I did experience that fog of war in my own sense and got shot, that I was, that I was going to live. I was looking up at the clouds. I'd lost 3 pints of blood, but I kept feeling like you're going to be okay. And something was telling me that. Could have been my conscious, but I think you could definitely see some stuff with those on if you're in the wrong place or the right place, I guess, if you're looking for it.
I'm so interested in, yeah, the story about you being shot. We did a special for Halloween where we
Mhm.
interview people and it's just them talking, and I want to do
Mhm.
one of like that. I
I'd love
am
to.
trying to understand like all of the variables from all of the
Mhm.
different accounts. The fact is that we are getting these accounts from soldiers. And so I'm wondering, do you think that there's like a certain type of person who joins the military? Like, could it be someone who's susceptible to getting psychic information or seeing the paranormal? Or like, do you think if we just put the night vision goggles on civilians and just like regular situations that there would be a prevalence of these same experiences? Or
A civilian feels safe. A civilian can be jaded, walking around, not a care in the world. Like, I'm here, I am in America, and I can cross the street walking on my phone while texting, and no one's going to run me over, right? The difference in that is that when you're out there and potentially that your life could end at any moment because the enemy could take it or an IED could go off. I feel like you become a lot closer with whatever powers that be are out there. I don't think it's a type of person, but I think it's the position that you're in. All of a sudden, I mean, there you are, and it's not a game anymore. Everything gets real. Life gets real. Your existence becomes precious. It's very different to compare to like a 22-year-old kid at a college football game and a 22-year-old kid fighting, and there's drones that are flying over your head with explosives on them. I think that it would be a lot easier to get closer to a god if you believe in that, and ghost and any type of supernatural beings. I don't think it's a person. I think it's where the person is placed.
wow, chills. That was, yeah, wow. Okay, thank you so much for this amazing interview, Joey. I know there's going to be some people who are interested in following your personal transformation
Mhm.
story because I know Joey has recently started, is it a TikTok? Tell us what you're doing.
So, a little backstory is after that gunshot that happened April 26th of 2023, I had a child shortly after that. And I struggled with depression. I struggled with this gunshot. The doctors told me that my arm might not work again. And I just did a lot of work. I did a lot of healing. I got sober and I did a lot of work mentally, physically, and it's just changed my whole entire life. Both arms work great, all the
Yeah.
fingers. My goal now is using these platforms to try to motivate people, to get people to understand that, like, it's never over. No matter how bad you feel, no matter what you're going through, everyone's going through something. We all have demons, and you can't do it alone. You need to step out, you need to ask for help, and you need to reach out to your community. I'm trying to be a leader of this community that gets people up and gets people active again and knows that they have a friend that they can talk to about stuff. I want to take what I've learned and be able to share that and inspire and motivate and see, I mean, if I can change some lives along the way like I've changed my own. But at the same time, you will see me be silly and dancing and singing, and there'll be some comedy on there. I just like to make people smile. I think that's where healing begins.
Oh, I love to hear that. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, well, we will link some of your socials down below. So if people are interested in joining Joey on his journey of transformation, looking for community,
All
check him out. And thank you so much, Joey.
right. Thank you.
Okay, Allie, what did you think of that interview?
Wow. Wow. That was a really great interview. I just can't I'm like not over the pictures of him being shot. I'm just like, well, that's insane
Yeah.
that's a footnote to the story.
know,
Like
I
we're
know.
not we're not interviewing him about being shot. We're interviewing him about what night vision goggles look like. Like what
I
the
know.
fuck are we doing?
I know. I wanted to talk to him more about it, but like, okay, so this episode has to be kind of short because it's fucking Tuesday right now, guys, and the episode goes up in like hours, and it needs
At
to
midnight,
just happen. Yeah, and so I don't have time to go into that. But for our Halloween series, we need to. I'm gonna interview him. It's a crazy fucking story. It's so fucking insane. I don't even want to give it away because like he fucking fought people. Like there was like someone tried to rob him with a gun and he like literally like fought the guy, took the gun out of his hand. Like it was crazy. Okay. So anyways, we'll get around to that.
To go, yeah, everyone look forward to our What's Haunting You series that we put out in October of each year. Thank you, Joey, for coming on the show, first of all. Very captivated by the story you had to tell. And my wheels are already spinning. I'm chomping at the bit to hear more on our What's Haunting You series in October. But as he was speaking, it kind of reminded me of those of you who listened to our episode on the haunting of OP Rock and listened to all fucking 3.5 hours. It was so long, guys. This is back in the day before we did part 1, 2, and 3. It was just like, here you go. Here's 3.5 hours of trauma for you. And I just remember one of the guys I interviewed who was stationed at OP Rock in Afghanistan in the early 2000s. One of the haunted things that happened to them is they had night vision goggles on at night and they saw somebody out in the field looking like they're going to be shooting at them. And so they were shooting at this person and then they have to go walk and see if if they hit anyone, and they realized that they were shooting at nothing. It's been a while since I've heard that story, so I may be getting some of the details a little bit wrong, but at the time, I did not ask this person about the night vision goggle conspiracy allegations because I didn't know about it yet. This only got popular on Reddit, I want to say, within the past 2 years. So I don't know. It's creepy. During times of war, I do feel like the possibility of seeing something paranormal, especially when it comes to aliens and UFOs, is just so much higher. Because if you're an alien flying around in a UFO, what better place to go look at than a war zone? You're like, what are these primitive people doing fighting each other? Let me go watch it. And so, it kind of makes sense that if you're going to see a UFO anywhere, it's going to be in a war zone. And then who is wearing night vision goggles? Not me or you walking around on a random night out to the club. It's going to be people in active war zones. So maybe could it just be best of both worlds? Like the people there are more likely to have night vision goggles and the aliens are more likely to be flying overhead? Or is it that the aliens are everywhere all the time, or the demons or the spirits or whatever it is that you think they are around us all the time and we can only see them with night vision goggles? I don't know.
Yeah, and it's interesting, he was talking about the quote-unquote the fog of war, right? And he was talking about how, you get spidey senses, time slows down, and you can hear things, you can see things, your senses become super, super sharpened. And so I wonder if a side effect of that is being able to perceive UFOs or perceive the other dimension that we're normally, on autopilot and don't pay attention to it.
Yeah, it's kind of like when people talk about the adrenaline strength of a mother when their child is in danger. You hear these crazy stories of moms lifting entire vehicles off of their children to save them after car accidents, and it's like, wow, I'm looking at you. You weigh 115 pounds and you're 5'2". How could you have possibly done that? It should be impossible. But they somehow harnessed that adrenaline and energy in the moment to maximize 112% of their body mass to be able to do it. So could that also apply to the brain? When he said that during the altercation where he was shot, he felt like time slowed down. Is that a defense mechanism, or is that some sort of evolutionary trait that we have to make us more likely to survive? You know what I mean? We're able to notice things in a really close way that usually we're not able to notice in order to save ourselves.
Okay, I just had a even crazier thought. You know how he was talking about how there was some sort of presence or a consciousness that was making him feel that he was going to be okay, and maybe it was himself, maybe it was a higher power, he doesn't know.
It was the demons.
God,
if he had only had his night vision goggles on, he could have seen them.
Well, maybe they were demons, maybe they weren't, but what if they had the power? Oh my God, I'm getting chills. What if they had the power to slow down time for him to react?
Like Slow Mobius in Rick and Morty.
Oh my God. This is... Okay. Wow. Okay.
Wow.
We really did something here, guys. All right. There is, apparently, in 2010, there was a guy, his name was Tom Beauchamp Arnold, and he started making dicyanin goggles, but I guess it was shut down because it was illegal or something. You can Google him, look him up. He tried to. Now, the skeptic theory is that not only was it like toxic and hard, but to do, but it's also like really hard to source, and so he just like wasn't making enough money or whatever. But there's another guy apparently who's making it now. I am going to share my, I guess, screen with you, and we can watch this video. Okay, so this is a guy, he's called the Museum of Tarot, and he's really cool. He does like a whole thing on, a whole video on like him making these dicyanin glasses and like what goes into it and conspiracies, whatever. If you want to learn more about that, go to his channel, but I'm just going to play a little excerpt here.
I'll keep this demonstration simple. I've got some dicyanin, some water, some mixing tools, and a white monster because Spirit Daddy needs his go juice. So what is dicyanin really? You can see here that dicyanin is a purple crystal. It's a coal tar dye derivative that was made about 120 years ago. Now, until that point, the color purple was very difficult to get to dye textiles. It's very expensive. And then they started pulling these different colors out of coal tar. They started to refine this and turn it into dyes. Now, this revolutionized the textile industry, and a lot of different colors were made available to the public. But it was also a lot of problems because the main suppliers were in Germany. I don't know who's been paying attention, but Germany had a couple of little hiccups about 100 years ago, World War I and World War II. So getting this dye became problematic at certain points, even for Dr. Kilner. Kilner himself noted in his book many different delays that he had getting this in from Germany and periods where he wasn't able to acquire it. And in addition to that, this runs out really quick. Dicyanin, for anybody who's ever actually used it, is a massive pain in the ass to work with because it degrades quickly. When you put this into a lens between two pieces of glass and however you choose to hold it, whether it be gelatin or liquid or whatever, it will turn cloudy simply because of light and temperature changes. And let me show you exactly what that looks like. I've got a pair of antique goggles here from I believe this one's from the 1960s. And if you look through it, cloudy, you can't see shit. Around the edges, you see where it gets gummy. If I unscrew the lens cap, I pop that off, and I show you what the lens actually looks like, you can see it's two pieces of glass with a thin little sheet of something that was impregnated with the dye. And once again, you can't even see through it. It's useless as a lens. Now these, 60 years ago were clear, and they are not anymore. That's the technical hurdle that I overcame when I invented the technology to make the lenses we sell at Museum of Tarot. They're the correct color, but are completely inert. They will never degrade. If I show you our lenses, you can see that is basically one piece with a very specialized coating. And because I was able to get away from sandwiching something between two pieces of glass, this will never degrade. It will remain clear and scientific optical grade forever. So let's mix up some dicyanin and take a look. I'll pull some of this out, and you can see I'm wearing gloves, and it's not because of the herb.
Touched your cheeseburger.
I'm fast forward a little bit.
Sorry, a McDonald's ad just played in the middle of this, guys.
Pineapple up my ass. Is there an orchestrated conspiracy to keep this down? Well, there's something I haven't gotten to yet, and that's that the last group, the last company that sold working Aura goggles in the United States up until the 1990s was a CIA front operation. Every technology that group touched seems to have just disappeared, and they had their hands in quite a few different, very interesting technologies.
And we do hold a lot of government contracts. We actually got contracts that they were hard to get. And back in the 70s, we got a contract to study the effects of Kirlian photography on skyjackers, which was to catch violent-prone people. We could pick their photos up and see if they were violent prone, and the Department of Transportation actually funded us to do that.
But I'll make another video to touch on that topic. Dicyanin is an antique. It's like a Model T Ford. It was hard to get even 100 years ago, and they just don't make it anymore. Now, if you want to go out and buy a Model T, I'm sure there's somebody that deals in classic cars that rebuilds the things that can get you one, but it's going to cost you. Museum of Tarot got around that problem in a very unique way. I created a new tech.
So, I mean, part of that is like that guy is hawking his goggles or whatever. So,
Yeah,
I don't
selling
know.
stuff.
Yeah, he's selling stuff, and that's fine. You know, everyone's got to sell stuff. I don't want to like make it seem like he's bad because he's selling stuff, but that's not that haunted that he's selling those goggles. Okay. What was haunted was he was showing us how to make the dye or whatever, and also he was talking about this conspiracy. So this is kind of crazy. There is a company that, according to the conspiracy, started buying up all of the old dicyanin glasses technology. Like you know how I was talking about how like supposedly you could only see through the glass with the liquid and
Right.
yeah, and it's like super hard to get it and da 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 da. Well, all of those started disappearing, and same with like the original NVGs. You cannot find those. Now, is that because they were banned and just like fell into technology that we no longer use and were discarded or like appropriated into new things? I don't know. But according to the conspiracy, it's that no, this company started buying up all of them to like get them away from the public. Okay. Last thing we're going to do, it is unhinged Reddit comment time, guys. This is a very fun thing that we used to do more often, and we need to do it more. I'm about to send you the craziest Reddit comment about this, and Allie, we're going to double team this. I'm going to email it to you right now. Okay, guys, this unhinged Reddit comment, they're spitting bars. Now, it is just an unhinged Reddit comment, so I don't know if this is a source that we can trust, but straight bars. And you just gotta hear it.
Unhinged Reddit comment time. This was posted 9 days ago by a user going by the name Puppers_McGee. Quote, the night vision advanced tech experimental goggle operation by the deep state that opened human vision spectrum to spiritual realm of demonic entities of the Bible is very real and true in my humble opinion. After researching this, I find the available evidence and personal testimonials and stories of family members given to them by Vietnam veterans who survived the war to be credible and terrifying. The spectrum that us humans see around us is so stunted, and so many things all around us and right in front of our faces is invisible to us, whether we can't perceive them or they are using cloaking technologies. Some animals pick up infrared even. Our sound abilities are also very limited. If you knew that the spiritual realm coexists within our physical realm and overlaps, and all of them see us very clearly while only the perceptive, very open to the spiritual, and innocent young children can perceive, demons are literally roaming all around us, looking to do anything to distract us and keep us from knowing God, and also doing all they can to pervert God's children with anything vile or of sin that they push on us in an effort to destroy humanity, harm God by stealing his children's souls for eternal damnation in hellfire. The demons, fallen ones, hate humanity because we are made in his image. They are envious and patently jealous and rage within to harm a God in the only way they can, which is by deception and lies. The biggest lie Satan got humanity to fully believe and buy into is the fact that he is not real, that God is not real, that heaven and hell are fairy tales, that you, humanity, should do what thou wilt, be your own God, do whatever disgusting stuff you want to do, because there is nothing by emptiness and nothing after death. He will say there is no judgment by a loving yet very judging God who will hold you, a co-5-4, your sins and turning you back in him and his word instead of repentance and being forgiven by God, filled with the Holy Spirit and turning from your sins and living your subsequent days of your life in service to him, 8-9, in living holy and just and kind with a godly loving heart. We will indeed, all of us, be judged upon physical earthly death of our bodies, and our souls will indeed end up for eternity in one of two places, ... with God's glory and with his angels as a fully loving being of God in eternal light with love in heaven, or in eternal damnation in hell with 24/7 torture of the most wicked ways by demons who hate you, They literally rip your body, which is your soul body, but you feel much more pain in hell than you feel to your physical body on Erieth. These demons, if you end up in hell, will literally rip you limb from limb and shred you to bits until your soul body is completely remade and the torture of the same starts anew upon you. Please take this seriously. Many have testimonials of God taking them to hell to warn humanity and see these exact same things. It's terror and wickedness that humanity is wholly unable to perceive. If there is even a 1% chance that this is real in your mind, which it is 100% true and factual, why risk an eternity in hellfire and torture and damnation of demons in hell, fully removed from God's presence, protection, or loving arms? Last thing, only 2% of humanity makes it to heaven's gates at this point. The devil is feasting on 98% of humanity he deceived into eternal hell. God bless each and every one of you.
Thank you. Thank you. That's just to me like a fresh cup of coffee, you know? By the end of that, you're like all fired up, right? Like it's kind of like,
wow. I mean, it definitely, it reminded me a lot of that one super unhinged listener story we received back in the day.
The Kundalini?
Because, yeah, you guys, I'm truly not trying to make fun of this person. That's exactly how they wrote it. And it is like 2 sentences long, if you can believe it. That entire thing I just read. Now, shout out to this person. They're doing what they think is right. Good for them. It is hard to take people seriously when they have run-on sentences. But that could just be me being like an elitist, like smell your own farts piece of shit. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. They said a lot of scary things. Look, I'll give them this. As someone terrified of death, that sounds horrible. Sounds super scary. Not on my to-do list. I don't want any of that.
Yeah. The part where they were like, please take this seriously, I was like, oh, are they talking to me? Because like I was not taking it seriously, and now I'm kind of scared.
Knew?
Yeah, like they knew. Like, wait.
Now, what if the person who wrote that is a demon that grew a conscience and is like, I have to warn people, but he's got like, you know how demons always have those super, super long pointy nails? Like he's trying to type on the keyboard and he just can't. He's like, oh God damn it. Like, fuck. Yeah. So maybe that's why.
He's like really like actually just trying to tell us that we're not taking it serious.
Oh my God. What if hell is just like, you try really hard to do things that aren't that hard and you just can't do them. You know what I mean? Like you're trying to drive a car and you keep crashing into a Walmart repeatedly on a loop. Like you're trying to type and everything's a run-on sentence and you're like, no one's going to take me seriously. You know what I mean? Like you're trying to put on your sock, but your foot just keeps missing and it's just on a loop forever.
I just try to do the most unhinged.
You really want root beer? And the only thing they have available for you is sarsaparilla, and you're like, it's almost root beer. It's almost root beer, but not quite.
How the fuck do you know about sarsaparilla? Are you like a Are you like an 80-year-old man, Allie? Like, if you listen to Allie talk, like, the cadence and the way she speaks is from another dimension, another time. She's from another time, for sure. And she's always like, oh, I love the Dodgers. And yeah, it's just like, I love the reason you like the Dodgers is because it's, like, stuck in 1950s, and so you feel safe there.
God.
Yeah.
Nobody knows for sure, and nobody can ever know. But if my aura is red, and red is demonic, am I the demon? Is that why my hat's red right now?
I always try to do those, like, troll faces. You know, the guy that's like...
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's my episode, guys.
Wow.
And I hope you guys liked it. And don't forget to give us 5 stars, whether or not you liked it. So
5 stars. Hey, how about this, guys? If you hated it, give us 5 stars. If you loved it, give us 5 stars.
Right. Exactly.
It's free. It's free to do a good deed. You're doing a good deed by giving us 5 stars. By giving us 5 stars, you will not have your soul body ripped apart in eternal damnation over and over and over again. I've heard. That's not a message from me. It's a message from the beyond, because my aura is red and I can tell you things from the earth, and the earth told me that. This was a very interesting episode. Yeah. It, of course, makes me want to get my hands on a pair of those old-timey goggles. Yeah. Because this is the thing about these types of legends, urban legends, whatever it is, ancient technology that we learn about on this show, is like it should be easy to prove or disprove. But then you're like, wait a minute, it's actually super hard because nobody makes these goggles. Whereas if somebody would just like give us a pair of these goggles, we could put it on and be like, oh, it's not true. Or we could be like, holy shit, there's Beelzebub in the corner jacking off. Like it just seems like it should be easy to prove or disprove because all you need to do is put on some goggles. It's not like you have to meditate, get to the 18th dimension, drink some adrenochrome from a child's bloodstream. This is just buy something. Like, this is consumerism. This is America. Seems like we should be able to figure it out really easily, and yet here we are. We can't figure it out. So if anyone has ever looked through night vision goggles, particularly if you've looked through the really old-timey ones, please send us an email. You can either email us at letsgethauntedpod@gmail.com, or our preferred method of contacting us is to go to letsgethaunted.com and scroll down until you see a little box that you can type into and then hit submit. You can even attach photos, videos, whatever you need. Submit it to us. We read it. We love it. We love you. The end.
Yeah. Okay, bars. Okay, bars, Allie. You guys, I try to like learn how to use different brain rot sayings throughout these episodes and just like make it sound natural. And I'm actually getting so good at it that I am just brain rotted now. Like, actually, this is just my vocabulary. Okay, thank you guys so much for listening and being here with us. I will say that definitely the best part of this episode is Joey's interview and the photos of him being shot. And so, we're definitely going to have to pick up on that. You guys leave a comment for Joey below and let us know how bad you want that interview. I don't know. Maybe we should do like a Patreon exclusive or something with him, because that is like, he's a very haunted dude.
That's crazy.
He's seen and done a lot of shit. And so just a fascinating person. And that's Let's Get Haunted.
Thank you so much, Joey. Thank you so much, Joey, for coming on the show. We really appreciated having you here with us today. Thank you, Nat, for teaching us all about this conspiracy theory / ancient technology, urban legend / possibly real thing.
Please take this seriously.
Oh, my God.
Okay,
thank you guys so much. Yeah, I would love to do our sign off. BRB. Gotta go listen to Fortunate Son. Bye. Bye.
Hey guys, it's Nat. Welcome to the closing credits for episode 230, the night vision goggles. This month, we would love to give a warm, heartfelt thank you to our Patreon donors who donated to us in the month of June 2025. Letters E through L. If you'd like to become a donor and hear your name shouted out on a future episode, head over to patreon.com/letsgethaunted, where you're not only going to get a shout out, but you're also going to get access to much, much more, like extras, minisodes, personal hauntings, live streams, tea, so many things that we cannot divulge outside of the Patreon because that's embarrassing. This week, we would love to thank Echo R, Ed B, Elduderino, Elizabeth P, Ellen W O M, Ellie, Eloin B, Emiko N, Emily, Emily B, Emily H, Emily O, Emily R, Emily W, Emily C, Emma D, M Storm, Erica M, Erica A, Ewelina K, Felicia G, Fenrir U, Frank D, Fred H, Freddie F, Fresh Z, Gabrielle, Ghost of 7-Eleven, Grandma Painter, Haley C, Holye L, Hannah R, Hasbro Ouija Board, Haley G, Haley A, Hexylvania S, Hugo A, Hunter S, Ileana RN, Inky Pop Art, Isabella, It's Kelsifer, Ivan L, Jackie L, Jacob, JDKP, Jamit, Jamie F, Jamie P, Jamie B, Jasmine B, Jasmine C, Jason G, Javier M, JM, Jamie L, Jeff W, Jen M, Jenna M, Jennifer C, Jennifer W, Jenny B, Jenny Squiddy, Jesselyn, Joey, and Jessie, Joanna H, Joaquin E, Jocelyn, Johan, John H, Jordan C, Jordan F, Jordan L, Jose L Krampus P, Jose P, Julia C, Julia M, Julie B, Julie C, Juliet H, Justin M, Justine D, Kate M, Karen H, Karen K, Karina C, Carly K, Carly M, Kat and Alice the Malice, Katie Cat, K to the Win, Kayla M, Kayla P, Keese P, Kelsey, Kelsey K, Kelsey E, Kelsey L, Kendra, Kimberly F, Kindred and Amber, Kittenish Kate, Corky M, Kristen K, Kylie K, Lacey M, Laura the Lauren, Lauren B, Lauren B, Lori, ID Bug 979, Leah R 1991, Leanna BC, Lena, Lex L, Lexitronic, Lil Dilda, Lily B, Lily B, Lily Silly, Lindsay M, Lindsay S, Lisa B, Lisa H, Lisa H, Lisa ML, Lisa R, Lizzie L, Lucero G, Luxury Guinea Pigs. Luxury guinea pigs? Wait, I love that. I would love a luxury guinea pig. I'm picturing like a little guinea pig who's wearing like a Moschino hat or something. Oh my God. You guys, I'm off the rails here thinking about these luxury guinea pigs. Anyways, time for the secret password. The secret password is something that you can comment on our Instagram photo dump at Let's Get Haunted. In order to be entered into a raffle at the end of the year, we write everyone's names out, like literally it's archaic technology, and we put them all in a big bowl. I like sweep up the bowl. I make a little reel out of it. I pull some people's names out, and those people get a prize. Last year, it was a custom one-of-a-kind mug that actually 4-of-a-kind mug that Allie gave out to people. And this year, I don't know what it's going to be yet, but it's going to be cool. It literally is free. All you have to do is comment the secret password on the episode. Now, this one's going to be really easy. The secret password for this episode is night vision goggles. You guys, don't fuck it up. Night vision goggles. Comment it on the Instagram photo dump to be entered. I love you guys so much. It is Tuesday. I am freaking out and I need to get this show on the road to edit this and get it up. Much love and RIP to my sleep schedule. Bye.